You ever roll back into your hometown after years away and the whole place feels just a little off? Not different like progress, but wrong in a way that sets your teeth on edge, like someone swapped out your memories for a bad photocopy. That's what hit me that July afternoon when I finally turned down the old Blaine Ranch Road. 7 years since I'd last seen Wyoming, but only 3 seconds before I realized someone had been busy erasing my family's name from the land. And they'd made one hell of a mistake, because they figured I'd just stay gone. Let me back up a sec. I'd done my time. Afghanistan, Arizona, a stack of federal jobs that mostly paid in calluses and regrets, until the day the call came. Grandpa gone, his land in my name, the kind of responsibility you feel in your bones. So I packed up, pointed my truck north, and tried to ignore that gnawing twist in my gut every time the prairie rolled past. You know what I mean? Like you're heading for a reckoning you didn't ask for. The first red flag was the gate. Used to be a weather-beaten arch with my granddad's initials, now swapped out for a welded steel monstrosity painted in HOA beige, security cameras blinking like soulless eyes, and a vinyl banner screaming Eagle Crest HOA Dog Training Grounds. Private. Members only. My mouth went dry. The cedar fence posts were gone, barbed wire and chain link in their place, and the house, my house, nothing but dog tunnels and a sad rubber ramp where the porch used to be. For a second, I thought squatters. Then I realized it was worse. Organized squatters with a budget. There was a prefab security hut by the gate, and inside sat a guy who looked about as happy to see me as I was to see him. I asked if he was the owner. He shot back, "You HOA?" When I said no, he smirked and told me to move along before he called management. I had to laugh at that. "Buddy, I am the management," I told him, and the land registry on my phone agreed. Still, there it was, my name on the deed, but also a zoning proposal 3 years old, the whole ranch shaded green on their HOA expansion plan. Common use pending claim. I'd seen that trick before. If nobody screams, they just keep building until it's too late. So I called the county recorder, got a woman named Bev, God bless her, the kind who remembers every land fight for decades. She confirmed it. My trust's still valid, taxes paid, no liens, but yeah, some HOA filed for boundary expansion a while back, tried to redraw lines, claimed they served me notice. Funny, I said, since I never signed a damn thing. Bev promised to dig up originals and check for forgeries. I hung up, staring at the dust. HOA my ass. By sunrise, I was back with tools and a plan. My hands shook, not from fear, but the kind of anger that comes when you see your family's history getting paved over. I cut the new lock, swapped in my own chain, and started pulling up dog turf, reclaiming the old porch stones. 2 college kids I'd hired for cash didn't ask questions. They just watched, maybe half expecting a shootout. We found the old boundary pin under the northwest fence, still there, proof the HOA had built 27 feet into my property. I took time-stamped photos, a tight knot of satisfaction in my chest. That's when she showed up. You know the type, black Mercedes SUV, pastel blazer, sunglasses you could hawk for rent money. Marched up like she owned the county. "You're trespassing on managed HOA grounds," she snapped, voice sharp enough to slice bread. I kept my cool. "Which part's yours again?" She rattled off legalese about parcel 53, shared recreational use, charter numbers, the works. I handed her my folder, deed, overlays, a notarized affidavit. She didn't even look, just pulled out her phone to call HOA enforcement and local law. Here's where the story takes a turn. Deputy Ray Calder rolls up, guy I went to high school with, still wears the same boots, just with more sun damage. Karen, that's what I called her, and she earned it, starts ranting about criminal trespass, fake landowners, hostile occupation. Ray gives her the DMV stare. "Ma'am, nothing here says he's not within his rights. This ain't HOA. Never was. You're standing on his land, not the other way around." She gapes, splutters about maps and official documents. Ray just waves one of her own proposals at her, pointing out it's a request, not a legal change. She storms off, dust in her wake. Yeah, that happened. But it didn't stop. Next came the realtors, a silver Tahoe, 2 suits, measuring tapes out, ready for a pre-listing walkthrough for some luxury development. Claimed the HOA signed off, even handed me a forged lease agreement with my name on it, dated back when I wasn't even in Wyoming. They'd installed smart locks, sent invoices for security upgrades, all billed to Eagle Crest under a signature that looked like a bad photocopy. I showed the deputy. He started an incident report for forgery, unlawful entry, and fraudulent leasing. When I asked him to check new filings, sure enough, the HOA had just submitted an application to reclassify my land as abandoned communal zone, using the fake lease as evidence. If this sounds crazy, trust me, it gets crazier. Next morning, I found my old well sabotaged, concrete poured down the shaft, industrial trash dumped across the pasture. An environmental inspector showed up, citing an anonymous tip about illegal dumping. Guess who? As she took samples, I pulled security footage. A Rock River concrete truck logged at my GPS coordinates, followed by a white Lexus, Karen's. She'd staged a dump, tried to poison my land, then filed an HOA violation notice fining me $12,500 for environmental breach. I laughed, sent it to my lawyer. This was war. The sheriff brought out environmental crimes. They watched the footage, saw Karen on site before dawn, tracked the contractor logs, started drafting criminal complaints for felony sabotage. Karen doubled down. Letters with threats showed up in my mailbox. A dead rattlesnake, frozen and tossed in a manila envelope. Someone tried to break into my shipping container. I changed the locks, added cameras, but it was clear this wasn't just about a dog park anymore. Twist of fate. The HOA itself started to fracture. When my lawyers subpoenaed their financials, we found Karen funneled HOA dues into beautification projects, code for paying herself, building fake improvements on my land, signing off on leases to shell companies that didn't exist. By the end of the week, the judge froze their accounts. Members started resigning, and a few even apologized for believing her stories. Final act, courtroom showdown. Local press, angry neighbors, Karen with a cheap lawyer, her confidence shattered. My attorney laid out everything. The deed, boundary overlays, timestamped footage, forged signatures, testimony from the notary who'd never seen the documents, contractor logs, HOA emails tracing every dime. Karen's defense? Clerical error, confusion, community good. The judge was having none of it. Ruling came swift. Property never belonged to the HOA. Every attempt at claiming it was fraud, environmental sabotage, was a felony. Karen got 12 years, no parole before 5. Eagle Crest HOA dissolved. Assets seized to pay for cleanup and legal costs. Sheriff oversaw her eviction. Her daughter shuffled out with a suitcase, not meeting anyone's eyes. By sunset, the fake signs came down, and the wind started to clean the field. I stayed until dark, bottle of whiskey in hand, sketching plans for a new house, stone cabin, solar roof, 2 horses, a real sign out front that just reads, Private Ranch. You lost this fight, Karen. But here's the thing. Folks in town still argue. Some say it should have never gotten that far. Others want to know how many other Karens are out there drawing lines where they don't belong. So let's hear it. When is it right to draw your own line in the dirt? When does standing your ground cross over into something else? Comment below. Where's the line between community and theft, justice and revenge? Because out here, sometimes the dust never really settles.